After a tough and successful road trip, the Mariners come home with no off day and get a really nice, complete, impressive W. Great outing from George Kirby today. And then the long ball from Randy. And of course, Cal adds one as well. What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome in to the Seattle Mariners post-game recap. The Mariners defeat the Royals tonight 6-2. They improve to 44-40 on the season, and they extend their wild card lead to 2.5 games. As always, before I go any further, the three big things: hit the like button. It does help out the video. Comment your thoughts on the team and this game down below. And if you're new or lurking, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm now 9 subs away from 4,800. Let's celebrate a fun Mariners win and get to 4,800. Thank you to everybody that subscribes, likes the videos, and comments. Appreciate every single one of you. This could have been an easy letdown game for the Mariners. Long road trip against three pretty decent ball clubs. You come home against a team that, not playing great ball, but is pesky enough. The Royals are good enough to beat you. This isn't Colorado coming into town here. It's a team that's really good at run prevention. And I say run prevention because it's pitching and defense with the Royals. And it would have been easy. It looked like it might be early on. They get that that run in the third inning on the Witt single after some 2-out kind of, Isbell puts one the other way, India back up the middle. And it looked like it might be one of those games. You guys know the games I'm talking about. We've seen them from the Mariners over the years. But then Randy gets into one in the fourth inning, and then the big fifth inning to open everything up. And then the bullpen does its job. Kirby does his job. And it ends up being a pretty easy win to start off this homestand. And another kind of crucial series, right? Like, Kansas City isn't exactly knocking on the door. They're 5.5 behind you. But the more you can get tiebreakers over these teams and kind of push them down a little bit. Like, if you sweep the Royals in this series, not saying they will, 4-game series can be very tough. I mean, you pretty much probably eliminate them, for lack of a better term. I mean, well, not from lack of a better term. I think you would, barring a miracle comeback of something like that. So, anytime you can push those teams that are kind of chasing you down a little bit further, it's a good thing. And this Royals team was a playoff team last year, so they could definitely get hot at some point. So, and it makes more teams potential sellers too, right? Maybe the Royals have some pieces you want to buy at the deadline. Again, long way to go. You still have 3 games left in the series, but you get my point. And obviously, we can look at all the deeper meanings. It's nice that the Mariners won a baseball game, and they continue to play pretty well here. 4-2 homestand, 6-4 road trip, and now 1-0 on this homestand. That's, let's see my math, 11-6 over the last 17 games. So playing pretty well. And again, continuing to get contributions a little bit from all aspects of the game, right? The offense, good today. The pitching starting to come together. George Kirby starting to look more like George Kirby. He had a really nice June. This finishes it up for him. The only start where he really was kind of off maybe a little bit was in Chicago, and that series was a mess with the wind blowing out. Nobody pitched well in that series for either side. As we look back on it, Kirby had one of the better pitching appearances in that series. So I think George Kirby's finally settling in. You're finally getting the George Kirby we've seen the last couple of years for this ball club, which is huge because I've talked about it several times, and I know I'm repeating myself with it, but the pitching has not been where they've expected or needed it to be. You don't need the pitching right now to be your, number one in F WAR that it was last year. I don't know if they did finish number one, but it seemed like they were there all season. But I think they're like 22nd, or at least they were coming into today in F WAR for pitching. If they can get that to not even get that, but just be like top 10 going forward, it could be a really good season for this team. And they have the pitchers to do it. It's not like they're 23rd and they're running out the Ryan Franklin's, Gil Mesh, Joel Pinheiro rotation of the early 2000s. Brian Wu, Luis Castillo, Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, and to an extent Emerson Hancock are more than capable of being a top 10 rotation in baseball. And this was a good start from Kirby. Yes, the Royals offense is struggling, but that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to beat them and be able to keep them, to 1-2-0 runs, whatever it is. And that's what, George Kirby did today. And I was a little bit worried about this series. And again, 3 games to go. So not saying it's over by any means. Mariners could lose the next 3. But the Royals are just kind of the team that can give Mariners fits, right? We've seen their offense be pesky enough. Series in Kansas City last year, the year before, when they can kind of just get it going. Then Bobby Witt and Sal Perez get into a few, Pasquantino's capable, and all of a sudden they can put up 5-6 runs. And like I said, their run prevention from pitching and defense is sensational, and they can keep you off the board pretty easily. Another thing that was impressed about the offense today, Michael Wacha's been really good this year. I know he's kind of a older veteran, so you don't think of him, and when you watch him, he's not a guy that, blows you away, but he's been really solid this year, and the Mariners put up 5 runs on him, I think in 5 innings today. Did he only go 5? Yeah, 5 innings, only struck out once. We haven't talked about the strikeouts too much recently, but they did a real good job against a pitcher that has been pitching very well this year for Kansas City. So nice job there, by the offense for sure. And you kind of saved the bullpen a little bit. Let's pull up the Mariners side of it here. I'm on the Royals side. Spire throws a shut inning, struck out the side. So you might not have Spire tomorrow. Brash pitches the 9th. I guess I might have gone to Burgos at some point in this game, but I get it at a 4-run lead. When you're only up 4, you're a hit away from being tied. What I mean by that is, bases loaded, grand slam, tied. When you're up by 5, you can load them up, hit a grand slam, but you still have a lead. So you're not like, there's not one hit that can tie the game on you, whereas you're up 4, there is a hit that can tie the game on you. So I kind of get avoiding him. But, and you should be fine for tomorrow. You should have Vargas, Bizardo, Munoz, all good to go behind Hancock. So it was kind of a tough one where it wasn't enough of a blowout to just throw Burgos for 2 innings. And I never have a problem taking Kirby out either after 85 pitches through 60 strikes, because with playing 17 games in 17 days, I don't think you want to push the starters too much. They're really just in a stretch right now where it just stinks not having an off day. That's all there is to this. And, no excuses for it. Every team has stretches. They have to play a lot of games in a lot of days. And the Mariners are coming through, right? They're winning a lot of these games. So they're doing a good job. But it's tough to manage these. I don't envy Dan's decisions and what he has to do here, when you have this many games coming up. But all things considered, I don't think the Pen's actually in terrible shape for tomorrow at all. And then you should have Brash for, kind of have, I guess you could look at kind of Brash game 1, game 3, and Munoz game 2, game 4. You can kind of look at it that way if you want to. So let's go ahead and get into the box score here. George Kirby gets his 2nd win of the year, goes 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 run. It was earned, no walks, 5 Ks, 85 pitches, 60 strikes. I thought it was maybe Kirby's, I think it for sure was his 2nd best start. And we've seen him kind of nibbling a bit his last few starts where his command control hasn't been terrible by any means. I don't think his walks are high, but more 3-ball counts than we're used to seeing from Kirby. I thought he was really dialed in today. I don't remember any 3-ball counts. If there was, maybe 1 or 2. So I thought he was really dialed in today. And definitely if you had some off days here, I think he could have easily gone 7 innings. I think that would have been ideal. But again, no one's getting an extra day's rest right now, so I don't mind keeping Kirby back, going to the bullpen, and having them lock it down. I didn't realize, look at the box score, Gabe Spire was 1 pitch away from an immaculate inning, only threw 10 pitches. So Spire might be good for tomorrow. 100% great inning from Spire. His last 2 outings has looked as good as we've seen him since April. Not that Spire's been, bad by any means, but April he was lights out. I think May and June there was more, really good, not lights out reliever. Last 2 outings he's been lights out. Thornton did give up a run and a walk in his inning pitched. I'm not going to get on Thornton at all. The dude threw a bunch of pitches yesterday, high leverage pitches, and 2 innings in that game against Texas. A gutsy performance for him to go out there and throw 27 pitches today. So I'm actually going to give Thornton credit for that outing. That was not easy. And you knew Dan was trying to avoid Munoz and those guys in this one. So kudos to Thornton for even taking the ball today and being able to do that. And then Brash finishes it up with a clean 9th inning with the strikeout, only throwing 11 pitches. They used Brash back-to-back in Texas, so I imagine he'll be down tomorrow. Didn't realize how little pitches Spire threw, so he's probably good to go for tomorrow's game. So great job on the pitching side, starting to get things locked in there. Mariners collect 12 hits, 3 walks, so 15 base runners again today. As seems to be as he normally does. JP, a quiet 2-hit day. Would have been nice if JP could have gotten that sac fly or that run in. I think it was in the 7th or 8th inning. Probably would have led them to use Burgos in the 9th, but JP with a solid day. Julio 1 for 5. His hit was a big one. Little blooper dropped in there, loaded up the bases in that 5th inning. Was it the 5th or the 4th? In that 5th inning. So his 1 hit was a good one. It's funny. We either see Julio kind of go 3 for 5, but his 2 outs then are with like runners in scoring position, or he's only 1 for 5, but the one was a big one. So if you can just combine those, that would be great. Cal 1 for 3 does have 2 RBIs, gave the Mariners the lead with the sac fly in the fifth. I think he just missed that pitch. And then he does hit the big fly there in the seventh inning. His 33rd of the year. I haven't really talked about the fact that Cal now at 33 home runs. And we still have 6, 10, 12 games before the All-Star break. I mean, you don't want to get cocky with it, but certainly not crazy. You could have 35. And the only guys above him for home runs at the All-Star break are the Roids era guys. It's Bonds, McGuire, Sosa. I think the only non-Roid guy in there is Griffey. I don't hate on the Roids guys too much. It was a lot of fun watching them. That was kind of what made me fall in love with baseball. So I just can't hate on those guys, honestly. They brought a lot of people back into baseball. And it's crazy that Cal, could match their totals at the All-Star break. Now, I don't know exact number of games. It's always a little bit different every year with the All-Star break. Usually it's about 90, I think 90 to 92 games, somewhere in that stretch. So just crazy. You look at that, all-time leaders in home runs before the All-Star break, and Cal Raleigh is on that list with 33. I don't think we've appreciated it enough. I mean, not us, but just like we appreciate it, but just like soak that in. I mean, that's a great season. That is a tremendous season. 33 is a lot of home runs, and he's got it halfway through the season. I mean, Randy's got 10. He hit 2 today. He's got 10, and it feels like nothing, but 10's a decent number at the break. That's on pace for 17, 18 home runs. That's solid. But what Cal's doing just remains incredible. Big day for Randy today. 2 for 4, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. I talked about a few weeks ago, Randy was kind of one of the guys I pointed at that needed to get going. Had a pretty solid road trip. Didn't hit a lot of long balls, but had some doubles, some base hits, some frustrating games, but overall pretty good. His OPS up now to 774. Man, a Randy hot streak here before the All-Star break would be tremendous. I think he's already kind of in a little bit of a hot streak, but just to keep that going would be huge. Great game from Randy. Good to see the power. Little oppo power, too, on both of them, not just dead pull hits. Dom Canzone, 2 for 4, one of them off a lefty. The one was originally ruled an error, became a hit. He hit that ball really hard. Ground ball, but still hit really hard. So Dom continues to show that strong exit velo and strong power, and I've been really impressed with his at-bats against lefties. He has not looked overmatched. To the point where I may even, with the way Dylan Moore's swinging the bat, I might give Dom a start against a lefty if you face one here soon. I think it's worth a shot just to see. Solano was 1 for 3 with a base hit and a walk. His walk was really impressive. I think it was a 13-pitch walk in the second inning, I believe. Nice game for Solano. Garver 0 for 3 with the walk. Glad Garver got the start today. I think he kind of earned some at-bats after what he did yesterday. So I don't mind Dan putting him in there. And I think Walker kind of has reverse splits because he's got that really good changeup. So not crazy to see him get a start against the righty. Mastroboni was 0 for 3 with a walk. And Cole Young, 3 for 4, including a hit that was 110 off the bat. He has swung the bat so much better of late. I think it's going a little unnoticed, but I want to say in the last few weeks, 115, 120 WRC plus, somewhere in that range, and really providing a nice number 9 hitter then to get that lineup turned over a little bit. So a real solid game from Cole Young today. I think one of his hits was off a lefty as well, which is really good to see because, you prefer to just play these guys all the time. And if Canzone and Young can show something against lefties, that's huge. So the offense does it again. Everybody reached base today. Garver and Mastroboni, the only ones without hits, but they both did work walks in this game today. So good job by the offense, coming home where it's not as easy to hit and against a team that's really good, like I said, at run prevention in the Kansas City Royals. Set yourself up well now in this series, right? You got 3 games left, 2 of those with Gilbert and Wu, so you always feel good with those 2 on the bump. Hancock's still throwing the ball pretty well. Got a chance to win this series, right? And now that you get game 1 in the bag, you'd like to do it. Now you look at this like, hey, it's a 3-game series, win 2 out of 3. Not only would that just be great for the Mariners, but also be kind of deflating to the Royals. Then the Pirates come into town. Again, you miss Paul Skeens in that series. So a chance maybe to do some damage here. I'm a little hesitant just because I do worry that with all the games this team has played and, the 17 games in 17 days that they may be a little worn out and some fatigue may settle in a little bit. But I think, I don't know. Maybe it won't, right? I mean, who knows? Like they seem to be swinging the bats pretty well. And they just get through 6 more games, go 4-2. Then you get yourself a nice day off. And I think then it's the last road trip before the All-Star break, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure it is. So just finish it strong, boys, right? It's fourth quarter. You're exhausted. You can't feel your legs, but the defense just needs one stop, right, to win the game. It's just kind of push through this a little bit, and they can do that. They'll be in really good shape. So nice win. Kirby starting to round into form. Offense continues to be strong. Great day from Randy. Cal comes through. Cole Young at the bottom of the order. Good win for the boys. Let's see if they can keep it going tomorrow with Emerson Hancock on the bump. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, go Mariners. Peace.